We live? Oh, okay. Hey everybody, it's Cooking with Cory. Happy Christmas, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. If you don't like it when people say Happy Holidays, get over it. There's more than Christians in this country, so get over it if you can't take Happy Holidays, because it's also Hanukkah, and that black guy made up that made-up holiday called Kwanzaa in the 60s. So it's actually, Kwanzaa's not till after Christmas, but you can say Happy Christmas and Kwanzaa and whatever you want to say. But anyway, so Happy Holidays. I don't care. Anyway, so making a pecan pie. One of the things you need to know when you make a pecan pie is you want to make homemade crust, because nobody likes your store-bought crust. It's gross. Don't do it. Yuck. Alright, check this out. So you see what's in there? That's the crust, and it's full of beans. So some of you look in my background because you're creepers like that, and you're like, what's all this weird stuff on your shelf? Why do you just have a giant bag of beans that's always the same thing of beans? These are not eating beans. These are pie baking beans. So what I do is, when you take your pie crust, you fill the pie crust, you put aluminum foil down, and then you take the beans and you pour the beans in there, and the beans weight down the crust and they hold it so it doesn't bubble up. Bubble up, there we go. So anyway, I've had a lot of coffee already this morning, and it really amped up. So anyway, we are going to make the guts of the pie while the inside is cooking. Let me turn that off so you can see. Okay, I got Cairo, got Fisher nuts. Now, the reason I'm using Fisher nuts, because normally I'll buy Ghetto and Kroger stuff, you know. When you're making a pie and it's going to have family over and all that, it's not just you, you might want to go buy the good stuff and spend the extra couple bucks and get nice things. So I bought the Fisher nuts. And also, because I only make these like once a year, I need the cookbook. So sorry, most of the crap I can make off the back of my head and I just do it, but I have my cookbook out. This is The Joy of Cooking. It's probably the greatest cookbook ever. If you have never cooked in your entire life and you totally suck and you can't figure out how to freaking do anything, this goes everywhere from setting up the place settings so you look fancy and you don't look like a retard when you're standing there and like you don't have the right fork and spoon in the right spot, to like how to make desserts, all the way to like flambe and burning the crunchy tops on certain pies and stuff. So it's not that expensive, really. I think it was under 30 bucks for this book. I'm sure you can find it on any other weird Amazon or Alvarez or anything like that and get it a lot cheaper. But anyway, get a good cookbook. Do the investment. You're going to keep the damn thing forever. So, I mean, this one's at least 15 years old, probably older. Probably older than 15 years. I'm not sure when I got it. So anyway, get it, read it, love it. It's awesome. All right, so what we're going to do, we're going to get 3 large eggs. Let's see. These are not large. These are large. All right. Yeah, it's the holiday, so yes, I have more than just large eggs in the fridge, which is weird, but normal people don't have that, but I'm just saying. And since I leveled my counter, I don't have to worry about my eggs rolling off, which is a good thing. Some of you have not seen the new floor, so here's the new floor. Looks nice. And then Rachel painted the table with this chalk paint and then gave me some wax to wax it with, so I waxed it so that my dough doesn't stick to it anymore when I'm rolling out pie dough, which is really cool. I got somebody watching already. I wonder who's home. Anyway, I'm one of them procrastinators and I wait till the last minute, so I've only bought like 3 Christmas presents, and I got to go pick up the roast for Christmas this year. So yeah, I'm going to be really busy later on today. So I wanted to get this video kicked out because I did promise you guys I would do some holiday videos. So this is in here. It's got another 15 minutes. This is some egg yolk and salt. It's just egg yolk and a pinch of salt. So what's going to happen is when my crust is done, I'm going to take it out of the oven while it's still really, really, really hot. And I'm going to grab, where's it at? My sexy paintbrush. And I'm going to take that yolk and I'm going to spread it all over. Because whenever you're going to put wet, goopy, cold stuff into a pie shell, you want that pie shell to not turn into a soggy, mushy glob. So that's why I'm doing that. Okay. Enough of that. Alright, so get back into what we were doing. I need to go get a big bowl because I don't have it. There we go, big bowl. There's a big bowl. It's nice and clean. We need... okay. Yeah, I already did this. So, remember, when you bake your pecans, some recipes, they want it crunched up. I like the pecan pie with the big hunk of nuts in it. I like big nuts. So, anyway, I will keep these whole, or well, half. They're halved, but I'll eat them that way. But like when they're roasted, when you roast them, you can roast them while you're doing your pie or whatever. It's like 5-10 minutes. They smell really good. Like this has that Christmassy smell. Like it smells like baking good, yummy good. All right, I'm slobbering, I'm drooling, I'm salivating. It's all good. Anyway, so I need 3 large eggs. I got those babies right here. There's one. Oh, come on now. 2. That was kind of a soft-shelled egg. It was like a dinosaur egg or something. There we go, 3. Alright. Oh, look, it could be Charles watching. Charles, is that you? Charles, give me a thumbs up unless you already did the thumbs up. Charles watches me a lot. And good looking out. Thanks for the tip on where to get coins, Charles. Appreciate it. Yeah, I don't like losing stuff, but it happens. Anyway, all right, so we're going to beat these eggs. I need a cup of sugar. Get this baby going here. And also, if you haven't made a pie crust before, and like you're totally clueless, I have several videos where I make pie crust. Either my pot pie, I think I have one where I just make pie crust when I made a pumpkin pie or something. So, I mean, look back in my video archives, because I do have videos of that. Alright, well, that's like all up in your face. Sorry about that. Okay. I have more baking stuff, so... Oh, son of a... Okay, that was bad. That's what happens when you're living in a humid climate and your sugar decides to turn into a giant clump of sugar. Okay, let's put some of that back. Don't quite need that much. You only need a cup. Alright, there we go, cup. That! Drop it right on in there. I'll worry about cleaning up the floor in a minute, because probably not the first thing I'm going to slop on the floor today during this pie making. Alright, kitchen's a little bit messy already on that side, so I'm not going to spin you guys over that way right now, because, you know, because it's nasty. So, alright, we're going to mix this egg yolk. We're going to mix this sugar. Oh, look at that. I'm making a nice gooey, slimy, sticky mess right there. Yeah. Alright. And then a cup of light corn syrup. Now, if you're like me and you like the darker stuff, you can use packed brown sugar and dark Karo syrup. But because I'm not just making this for me, I'm going to make it some other way. And that, you know how like I say no high fructose, yeah, 0 high fructose corn syrup, which is weird because this is Karo syrup and you would think it would have all kinds of stuff, but it's not. It doesn't have it in there. So, all right, so 1 cup. This one actually has the measuring on the bottle, but I know Rachel used some of it to make something the other day, so I probably don't quite have 2 cups in here. So I'm actually going to measure this out. I'm dancing on some sugar on the floor here. Blah, blah, blah. Now, the reason that they put the measurement on the bottle is because Karo syrup is very heavy and thick, and you're not going to get it all out of the cup most likely. There's 8 ounces right there. All right. All right. I'm going to pour that in there. Oh, good stuff. Okay. So if you got the diabetes or the sugars, I would not suggest making this and eating it yourself, because you will probably go into diabetic coma and die. So I'm just saying, don't do that. Pecan pie is actually, just because it seems like a lot of steps, if you were going to make this with kids, this is probably one of the easier ones to make, because it's just mixing wet and dry stuff together, slopping it in the pan, and then baking it. So I would say if you were trying to teach your kids how to cook, make one yourself first, just so you know what the hell you're doing, and then let the kids have at it. Because kids like to do concoctions and make mixes and stuff like that. They dig it. What else we got? 5 tablespoons of butter. What do we got here? This would be 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is 5. All right. Sweetness. I was merely joking when I said I want to punch your pretty head. I don't know why all the freaking chicks like Morrissey. He sang about some pretty messed up stuff, like punching chicks in the face. I don't know, man. That doesn't seem like a very. It doesn't seem like I would like. If I was a chick, I wouldn't like Morrissey singing about punching chicks in the face. But that was one of his songs in the '80s. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you're probably not over 40. All right, now throw this in the nuker. Cover on it so we don't freaking get stuff everywhere. Now, since I'm trying to multitask and get my Christmassy crap done too, I'm gonna have company come in. You're gonna have to excuse me for 1 second while I put the clothes in the dryer. Alright, those are good, nice and fluffy. Okay, coming in, just give me a second. Butter's almost done melting here. Get in there, boom. Oh yeah. Let's see how it's going in. Oh yeah, good time to check that because that was almost bad. Alright. Now, one of the things you got to worry about when you heat your butter is if you do like I just did and you might leave it in there a little too long. It's nice and melted. Oh yeah, it's melted, trust me. But it's really hot. So you want to let that chill for just a second. Just kind of let it mellow out. Because what's in here? Raw eggs. You put boiling hot butter on top of raw eggs, you just made scrambled eggs in your pie. You messed it up. You don't want to do that. So we want that to cool off so it doesn't cook our eggs. This is the Kroger brand coffee. It's pretty dang good. It's Kroger. I like it. It's actually pretty tasty. Now it says vanilla or dark rum. Since I don't drink, I'm not going to use dark rum. But what I have done in the past is if a thing calls for alcohol, I'll ask the neighbor to go buy some alcohol. I'll take the amount that I need for my recipe, put it in my thing, and then let them drink the rest of it because I don't want that stuff in my house. But the alcohol cooks out. So if you're like, oh, you're putting alcohol in your stuff, like anything that you cook with alcohol, the alcohol boils out, it evaporates, it's for flavor. The alcohol isn't really still in there. So chill out, still sober after all these years. All right, I want to say this is a teaspoon of vanilla. I believe it is. Oh, look at that. That's some goopy. All right, so a teaspoon. Now pies, like you know, when I talk about the baking, and you have the art and the science of cooking, so pies are a little bit of both. You don't want to screw up your crust, so you want to make sure that you're paying attention to the recipe. So that has to be exact measurements, exact temperatures, exact times. Otherwise, you're gonna ruin it. But the goo inside, that's kind of like the art. Like if you like I said, if you like it dark, or maybe you want it medium, you could use brown sugar and light Karo, or you could use dark Karo and white sugar and make like a medium pie. It's all up to you. It's all good. All right. So what I did was I poured my vanilla into my butter and then there's a little. See how there's a little bit of raw egg dripping off of there? I'm gonna put it in here, and if it cooks the egg, then I know this stuff's way still too hot. And since it did not, I'm gonna pour it right on in there and give it some love. Give it some whiskey love. Whiskey love. There we go. Yeah. Okay. So here's so far your guts. This is your guts to your pie right here. So everything in here is sweet or fat. So pecan pie is not good for your insides. But you know what? It's the holidays. Stretch your belt out a little bit. Live a little. You know, let's go for it. Alright, what else we got here? Oh, yeah. Half teaspoon of salt. I almost forgot about that. That's about a half teaspoon right there. Alrighty. I have drank 8 cups of coffee already this morning, so I'm a little amped up. It's all good though. And my happy pills are working, so that's a good thing too. Alright. Okay, stir in. So, another benefit of doing my pie crust is what happens is when you do a wet pie into it, you want the crust to be hot. So, since I'm already cooking the crust, it's going to be mega hot. So, it's going to come out. I'm going to rub the snot on it, and then I'm going to put it back in the oven for like 5 minutes, just enough to let the snot jiggle stop sticking to it. And then I'm going to pour all my goop and my guts in there, and I'm going to cook this for, what does it say? Alright, 35 to 45 minutes in the center rack. Alright, we're going to dump our nuts all in there. Dumping nuts in here. We're going to stir them in, nice and roasted. They're going to break up a little bit because you roasted them, so they're a little more brittle because they're not raw anymore. Or, well, not raw. They were already kind of roasted when they were in the bag. But you know what I mean. Alright. So what I like to use the half of pecans like this because, or pecans, pecans, whatever. Depends on where you're from, I guess. In Louisiana, they call them pecans. Pecan pie. With some pecans. If you live up north, it's pecans. You need a pecan. Alright, there we go. So that stuff's all mixed in there, nice and yummy. Alright, so now all we gotta do is wait for our pie crust to get done. And now the good thing is you're like, dude, why are you cooking this so early? So soups and pies are the two things that get better with time. The longer they sit, the better they get. So, oh, okay. Back that train up a little. Yeah, a week is a little long. So with a soup, you can keep a soup up to a month as long as you, every week you take it out and you boil it, or just freeze it. You can freeze it, you can live, like, it'll last for a year. But for pie, if you're not going to freeze the pie, you can cook the pie and stick it in the refrigerator for up to 2 days. And then when it's time to serve your pecan pie, you can stick that sucker in the oven at 275, warm it up, and serve it with, you know, your softy, fluffy whipped creams and all that good stuff. But anyway, so I pretty much got the times down on this. I don't really need to read that anymore. I'm going to show you how we're going to deal with this coming out of here. I need another bowl. Because I'm cheap, I keep my beans. And I'm just going to roast them again in another pie thing some other time. So, you know, my frijoles, I like to keep them whole and put them back in the bag, throw them on the counter. I don't know, if I ever croak and somebody's going through my kitchen, they're going to be like, man, these beans look wore out. Don't eat them. I guess you could. I mean, they've only been baked a few times. Alrighty, so we are going to turn this off. We need to set the oven to 375 now. Put that baby up there. We're going to hit the timer. Take that baby off. Alright. I might need 2 of these right now because this baby looks really hot. Yeah, okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to dump out as much of these beans as I can into the thing here. Alright, so I saved most of my beans. A couple of them fell on the floor. I think life will move on. Alright, now. No, you didn't stick, did you? You son of a gun. Alright, so you gotta be very careful. So, if you're, you don't want to rip your pie crust, and I may not have TP'd this quite enough over it. Made the little awnings, but ooh, it smells really delicious. Alright. So this is what your pie crust is going to look like after you put the beans in it. Now, if you forget to put beans or pie weights or something down in there, because they do actually sell something called pie weights, and they're just little weights you stick in there and they hold it down. But if you're cheap and ghetto like me, you use beans. Anyway, so So now we're going to poke this with some holes, because we like to poke things with holes. We're just going to poke it all along. Kind of like when I do my pizza crust, for those of you who are Cooking with Cory G fans and you've seen my homemade pizza where we poke the pizza. All you're doing is you're poking this so that the air bubbles that are going to start to form and want to climb up your side of your pan, you're keeping those from happening. So you're just poking to prevent air bubbles. All right. Now, because this baby's like a gazillion degrees right now. All right, we're gonna whip this up with some more. You only need to get it down in the bottom, because that's the part that's gonna leak if you don't get it right, okay? Get your snot out here and just kind of dab it on there. Dabbing the snot on, brushing the snot. Snot. So you only need this down where the goo's gonna go. You do not have to paint it all up on your crust along the side, because what's gonna happen is gonna make it very unattractive. You're gonna go to look at it and you're gonna be like, ah, dude, really? Like, look at this pie. It's got freaking scrambled eggs up on the side of it. So we don't want to do that. We just want to keep it all down in where the wet stuff's going to go down in here. Okay? Just keep it down in there. Oh, crap. Okay. Try not to put holes in there. My brush has seen better days. This used to be my old barbecue brush. And it's been brushed on over so much fire and flaming and hot stuff that now it, yeah, it's seen it. Probably need to get a new brush. Alright. Packed it all in there. Okay, so that's with the egg. Put all that crap over there. Show you guys what it looks like now. Okay, see? Got the egg all in, just in the bottom part, okay? Dang, one person's still watching. Dude, that's loyalty right there. Thank you, whoever's still watching. Alright. We're going to put this in for another 5 to 10 minutes. But we want to make sure that we're keeping our eyeballs on it. I'm going to just say 5 because the deal is we're just trying to get the eggs to set, to fill in those holes and gaps, and we don't want it to rise up and start to, get all gross or anything. So I'm going to let it go about 5 minutes. I really don't like it when my crust gets too brown or burned, so I'll take it out at 5. We got to cook it for another 35 to 45 minutes anyway. So the crust is going to brown on the top. Don't worry about it. Some people don't like their crust to get brown too quick. So what you can do is, if you notice that it's starting to do that, you can take your foil and you can make like a little foil donut, and you can just set that right over the top of your crust. You don't want it over the top of the pie because you want you want your pie to set, but you're going to set it over the top of your crust, and then that little teepee there of foil will reflect some of the heat back and not burn the crap out of your crust. Because you don't want to have like, oh man, I spent all this time making this great pie, and then you burn the freaking crust and it kind of ruins the whole pie. I guess you could just chip it off. Some people don't like the crust anyway. And this one's for you, Steve-O. Yeah, Seawell warm-up, I just did it. For those of you that don't know what Seawell warm-up is, normally I drink black coffee. This is already black coffee. This gets cold, this is hot. You pour the cold back in, you pour the hot back out. Seawell warm-up. But some people have issues with the Seawell warm-up because your lips have touched the coffee. So like disease, oh, you're gonna die because my lips touched the coffee, whatever. You're not gonna die. My mouth's very clean and I've had my shots. So now we're just waiting for this to happen. So normally you guys don't get to see the finished product, which I'll take a picture of it and I'll hang it on my Facebook and all that for those of you that got me on Facebook. But anyway, I'm not gonna leave this on for 35 minutes while it's 45 minutes while it's cooking. I will just post pictures of the final product. Very few times I think have I ever done straight start to finish and you guys got to see the finished product. That being said, I'm still trying to figure out how to use the dang editing tools on here. So if anybody can like PM me and explain to me how, when I cut out a piece of my video and it says that it's cut out, and then I save the new video, why does YouTube not edit my video? So like then I'll post it and it'll say your video has been edited, and when you go to watch it, it's still the whole video in its entirety. I think YouTube hates me, but whatever. Is it bubbling? Nope, we got no bubbles. About 3 more minutes left. We want to keep our stuff going. So this stuff is so thick, it's like floating in the Dead Sea, right? So all the little pecan bodies want to jump up and float to the surface because this stuff is so dense down here. But you're still going to get some hangers on, some little floaties that are going to stick down in the bottom, which is all groovy because we like the little floaters to stick down there. But the good thing about this is, like I said, it's going to sit for 2 days because Christmas isn't until Monday. So my pie will already be done. I won't be stressing out about making that. It'll just need to get warmed up. I guess the only thing I'll be stressing out about is if people keep getting in and out of my refrigerator and accidentally bump the pie or spill something on it or drop something on it, and then I'll probably lose my mind and it'll be a bad day. But anyway, that is neither here nor there. 2 more minutes. Yeah. See, if I knew how to edit these videos, I could just edit out the 2 minutes and show you, bam, pie. But hard to have patience when you've had 8 cups of coffee today. Oh man, what a mess. I usually try to clean up as I go, but right now, kind of a mess over here. Ah, no! Son of a... I had gerbil life for breakfast because I kind of been eating about 2,200 to freaking 2,800 calories a day, eating cookies and all that stuff. So with the gerbil life, it's 150 calories. I feel full and it's good. So that at least cuts down, and it's not good to skip meals, so you don't want to do that. So that works. But yeah, usually when you're trying to, squeeze into some pants that don't fit, and you realize that maybe you might want to cut your calorie intake down, especially when you don't wear off as much calories as you used to, which I do not. Okay. Alright, so this also has to cool for at least an hour and a half when you're done cooking it. So let me show you how this looks right now. So we see how I was telling you about the scrambled eggs. You're going to get some scrambled eggs in there. It's going to go away when we put the goop in, so don't freak out. Don't have a meltdown. It's all good. We're gonna make it okay. Alrighty, put this here. Alright, we don't want to overfill it because it'll leak past our crust and get behind it, which then makes that piece of pie sticky, and that's not cool. Which is why you want to try to get up as much as you can to the edge of the pie, but not over. Now, because this is not like a creamy, fluffy pie, it's really not going to rise any. If anything, all this is going to do is just going to settle. Alright, so let's get a look at it from the top. Oh, pretty. Okay, so that's going to go in the oven, and we're going to cook that sucker for, I'm going to start with 35 minutes because my oven's been being really weird. I'm going to do 35 minutes first. If 35 minutes doesn't get it, then we will, do it for another 10. It's supposed to be in the middle of the oven, so we need to adjust the rack. This is where reading is fundamental. If you don't read the recipe and you forget to move your rack up and down in the oven, you will notice that you tend to screw up a lot of the things you're cooking a lot more often because you're not paying attention. Alright, so we're going to be very careful with this. You want to center it as much as you can. So, not only is that little line in the middle of your oven rack in there to keep so you don't drop stuff through and just to add stability, but it also helps you aim to make sure that your stuff is centered in the thing here. So let's go 35 minutes. And that is my video for today. I'm sorry it took a little bit longer than my normal 20-minute video, but I hope you guys have a great Christmas and